Howdy, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of It Came from Facebook. Small hiatus on this series for a little bit, but I'm happy to be back and giving the people what they want. We're going to see if I can find the best R6 in the U.S. Producer Logan has selected quite a few different motorcycles for me to take a look at. We're going to see what is the best R6 that we can find. Let's get started with this one. First up, we have a 2019 Yamaha YZF for $15,200. And we're back in Delulu land, boys. It's that time of year. People think their bikes are worth way more than they actually are. It's absolutely absurd. This is just, yeah. Okay, so here we go. We're starting off strong. $15,200, which I will remind you is several thousand over the original MSRP of this motorcycle 6 years ago. Seller says 7,300 miles, R6, amazing condition, garage kept the whole time. New battery, tinted black front shield, SC Project exhaust, performance, K&N oil filter and oil. Ooh, how much horsepower did that add, my friend? Performance upgraded chain and sprockets. So I don't want to dog on this guy too much, but it does seem like this person doesn't have a super sophisticated or nuanced understanding of motorcycles because we're not giving the chain or sprocket upgrades. Like, did you do a 520 chain? Did you do a +2 in the rear? Like, what was the sprocket change that you made and why? Typically in an R6, you would change the sprockets to get better drive on track or get the right gearing for the right corners on track. Like, that's really the main reason you would do it, unless you're a low IQ street squid and you did it just to go faster in a straight line or achieve those vaunted 186 mile per hour figures that we hear about so much. Black windscreen and exhaust mod also tells me that this individual has very little taste or understanding of motorcycles, because when you go full tuck, you want to be able to see. If you have a blacked out windshield, you can't see anything when you go full tuck. Anyways, let's judge the motorcycle based on how it looks. This is the last generation R6, so you get the updated fairings. You have the dashboard from the old generation R1, which was kind of funny that they did that. To be honest, the last gen R6, I know that people think that they're very sought after, they very much like them. It was really nothing more than a light facelift over the 08 Plus R6, which to me, if you're going to look for an R6, 08 to 09 is absolutely the year you want to get. That was the best R6 that they made. It was the most raw, the most analog, and made the most horsepower. This one, yes, it has some updated looks about it, which I think a lot of people really enjoy. But I don't really think this is the one I would go for if I was looking for one, especially because so many people live in a clown show reality with these where they think their bike is worth $15,000. And we will see later in today's video that you can find great R6s for a whole lot less money, because I think this fever dream that these people are all living in, that they think that their R6 is worth 15 grand, is finally breaking. I think the fever is finally breaking. I'm not seeing this as much anymore, and I really hope we can stick to that. But it's a clean R6. It's relatively, straightforward with the mods. It's not too street squidded out. And if you wanted to pick this up, I think it's, ask for like $6,000 off the price, and then maybe we can start talking. But otherwise, a relatively straightforward and clean R6. I think this one's pretty decent, but certainly not the best one we're going to see today. Let's keep it moving. As a side note, sorry, I just noticed this in this person's garage here. It looks like we have a Nissan 350 or 370Z in the background here with the plasti dipped wheels that are all scuffed up and scratched. I think this tells me everything I need to know about the type of person that bought this motorcycle. I think this is perhaps not the most motorcycle-y of motorcycle people. Anyways, moving on. All right, 2006 Yamaha R6 for $800, the Raven Edition. Contact only, they say. I don't even know what that means. Up for grabs, a sleek and powerful 2006 Yamaha YZF R6 Raven Edition. Low mileage and meticulously maintained. Clean title, no accidents, helmet not included. Extreme speed and a sleek package. For $800, that deal's too good to be true. Look at this incredibly good photo we have that I think is it's the only one. Well, folks, you see this, steer clear. It's an obvious scam. No one would ever sell a reasonably well-sorted R6 for $800. I know we just talked about them being 15 grand. 800 is a little too low. I think the floor for an R6 is somewhere around like 4 grand nowadays, maybe $4,500. It's about as low as one that actually runs will go. So this type of listing, total scam, totally steer clear. It's either stolen or they're trying to get your identification. Something's going on here, so we're just going to skip this one and absolutely place it bottom of the barrel. All right, as I mentioned, 2005 Yamaha R6, $4,500. This person says, amazing bike. There isn't anything wrong with this bike at all. It's all caught up on its all maintenance and it's ready to ride. I literally bought the bike to fix up and resell, so everything that needs to be done is done. Okay, so this tells me seller did the work themselves. You might want to verify that. Typically, I like to see that it was done by a professional shop, but that's not to say that your average shade tree mechanic can't get it done either. No title in hand. Ooh, absolute red flag. Probably walk away. Says clean VIN. So many questions already. Like, why don't you have the title? What happened when you bought the bike? Why didn't you at least get a bonded title? Anyways, new oil, less than 50 miles. New coolant, new brake fluid. Tires have a lot of life. New parts, levers, LED lights, flush mount, grips. Aftermarket Akrapovic carbon fiber slip-on, Canon air filter, LED integrated taillight, mirror block-off plates, and 2 keys. So this person says they bought it and to fix it up and flip it, but I'm seeing a lot of parts that are like random farkles and just street squid stuff. Like, why would you ever get a bike to then like do block-off plates and tail lights and all this stuff? Oil and coolant and brake fluid and brake pads are like the absolute entry-level maintenance items that a bike should just have in general. Like, what's the mileage on this bike? Have the valves been done? Like, has any major service items come up? Like, these are the stuff you'd really want to know. The seller doesn't even list the mileage, so we're working no title, no mileage, a lot of red flags. Let's take a look. So this generation R6 is actually the one prior to the one that everybody loves so much, the 08 Plus. So in 05, Yamaha had the R6, and I think this was right when they were like splitting off between like the Phaser 600 and the Thundercats and then like the R6. It was still kind of nebulous, but I think this is proper super sport R6, but this isn't the one that everyone lusts so much after. So that's already going to reflect in the price a little bit, right? If you're working with a bike that isn't the most sought after model or whatever, like that already is going to dock you points. Everybody wants the 08 Plus R6, basically. That's the one that people kind of think of. So it's not to say this is a bad bike. This bike actually looks kind of decent. In the photos that I'm seeing here, I see that this gentleman has a lot of other motorcycles in the garage. Looks like a pretty humble, fun little setup. You got one over the blanket over here. I see one back here. I see another motorcycles out here. So clearly a pretty real deal motorcycle enthusiast, which lets me believe that, you know, looks to be relatively clean. We do have odometer here. It wasn't in the listing, but we do have a photo of it, 35,000 miles. So yeah, you're going to want to check valves. Absolutely, they've come due at some point. But you can see just based on the dash, this is the older R6. It doesn't rev to 16 and a half like all the other ones do in the 08 Plus generation. So honestly, this one, you know, if you want an R6, you want the screaming inline 4 sound, this is, I mean, $4,500, you know, it's not that much money, right? If he was asking like $7,000 or whatever, you're like, dude, come on, like $7,000 for this. But, you know, I think, oh, I just noticed the dog. Oh, look at that old dog in this photo. It's really sweet. I can't believe I didn't see him earlier. That's crazy. I think this is one that you would want to just check out a little bit more in person. But again, dude, no title. I forgot about that. That's a deal breaker, man. I know that people get around that stuff. They do bonded titles, whatever. But this isn't even a bike that is worth, you know, going all that. You don't want to do all that with this bike. It's not even like a collector's item or worth it. And it's not even that track worthy or capable because it's not even the right R6 to get. This to me is definitely a pass for several reasons. But yeah, I don't think this one's really worth the time. So we're going to keep it moving on this. All right, 2002 R6 for $4,100. Okay, let's see here. It says overall it's in pretty good shape. It's not perfect. It needs the rear brake pads and has a tank dent and some scratches on the plastic. Never dropped it at speed. The cosmetic damage is just because it fell over in transport. I just put a new battery in it. I bought it from the original owner a few years back. I just don't ride it as much. I'm tired of seeing it in the garage. Cash in hand if you want to test ride. You drop it, you buy it. That makes sense. All right, let's take a look. $4,100. Same generation as the other one we just said. You can tell by the body style. We're not working with the little wasp front end yet. So this one has more of that like early 2000s vintage to it. The R6 logo is kind of old school. It's got YZF on the side of it. I do like it in this blue. If this seller has a clean title in hand, this is actually kind of a sweet bike. We have a leather tank cover over the bike here. That's sometimes to be done to hide paint imperfections or dents and stuff like that. He did mention the tank needed a little bit of work. But the head looks great. Look at this photo close up of the head. Super clean, no gunky, weird oil or anything like that. That looks extremely clean and nice right there. The headlights look really clean and straight. This model has right side up forks, which is kind of interesting. What year is this again? Is it 2002? So this may be a slightly older gen than the one we just saw. Although the plastics look a little similar, this one has upside down forks and this one has right side up forks. So the R6 became this like extreme track monster, like excellent super sport bike after that '08 generation, but they did make those changes throughout the mid 2000s, riding that sport bike craze that we saw in those years. Everybody was crazy about sport bikes in that time, and they were all the rage, and they sold like crazy. So you'll see a lot of these generations. There's small differences throughout the years, but pretty straightforward. So I think this one, $4,100, if it has clean title in hand, you know, not bad. Again, not the vintage you're looking for an R6, but, you know, still makes the right sound, still has the right feel. Really not bad, you know, not too bad. Okay, 2006, Yamaha YZF R6M. I'm not sure where the M's coming from. $7,500, 16,000 miles, excuse me. Clean title, full carbon fiber paint, perfect condition, Yoshimura exhaust, good tires, ready to ride. Let's take a look. All right, so this is what I was saying. I think '06 was the very first year that they had the new generation, this Wasp front end with the Ram Air, but '08 was when they had quite a few updates to the model, and that's, again, the ones that people really look for. But this has the right look, you know, this is the right looking R6, if that's the vibe you want to go for. So, yeah, it's got the sleek tail that everybody loves, the right fairings, and all the design. Like, this is the torture rack R6 that everybody really enjoys. This is the squid missile that'll go 186 miles per hour. Not really, but everybody says it does. I think this person listed it as an R6M because it looks like the gas tank has had some sort of silver treatment to it, kind of like the R1M. But that's not really like a thing. Maybe this person modified their bike a little bit to look more like, you know, that vibe. I see that they did like a carbon fiber thing on the fairings here. None of that adds value, and to be honest, I would steer clear of a bike that has that much extensive modification. This does look like it has mostly just like street squid mods. This doesn't look extensively modified. The swing arm is stock. The motor looks stock from what I can tell. It looks like they just put like frame sliders and a little can on the exhaust. It looks like just a slip-on unit. I believe that's the catalytic converter right back here. I don't think they did a full system exhaust because those are pretty pricey. Those exhaust headers right here look stock because they have all the road gunk and all that sort of stuff. Typically, when you do a full system pipe on one of these, you would put a guard right back here, and then, you know, you kind of want to show off the titanium or whatever you got going on there. But as I mentioned, so you've got upside down forks here, higher spec braking hardware. I think this was this was radio mounted brakes already by this point. So already working with a higher spec here. But again, '06, not quite the right year, but this one's okay. What are they listed at? $7,500? That's way too much, dude. Like, this is like a $5,000 bike. I understand you did the carbon fiber. Nobody asked you to do the carbon fiber. To be honest, if this person had kept this bike as stock as possible, it would be worth 75 or maybe even more because it's the right vintage. This is what I tell you guys. Like, if you are in this game to try to get money back out of your motorcycle, don't modify it, you know, or keep like very simple modifications that are timeless and tasteful, right? Like, don't change the plastics and change everything else, because then people think that you just crashed the bike, right? But, you know, if you just do like a slip-on, tank grips that you could then remove, put a little isopropyl on it, clean up the gunk, Goo Gone or whatever, you know, just keep it as clean and stock as possible. That's what people like, because for me personally, I hate bikes that are extensively modified with a bunch of farkles that nobody asked for. So this one, I'd kind of pass on it. All right, 2017 Yamaha R6, $10,500. Okay, we're not in Lulu Gaga land. It's completely delulu with the freaking last generation R6. The 2017 was the one that got the refresh. So, okay, we got clean title in hand, 30,000 miles, condition 9.5 out of 10. I like the arbitrary condition there. Fully stock. Ooh, beautiful. 2 keys, runs and drives with no issues and in nearly perfect condition. Motor and clutch are great. Bike is ready to go. Okay, boys. And now we're talking. Okay, now we're talking. Look at that. Look, do you see the difference? Do you see the difference, boys? Oh my God. All right, it's not completely stock. There is a slight tail tidy unit right there, but we'll let that slide. But this is the difference though, right? Like, look at this, right? Yes, this is a newer model, right? But look at that, right? Versus this like modified last gen R6. It just, none of this looks good, dude. It just looks kind of like thrashed out a little bit, but you keep it, this thing has 30,000 miles and he only wants 10 for it. This is not like that other guy that's like, oh, 15 too. Like, shut up with your 15,000, 10 grand. Now we're talking. Now we're in the ballpark of reality with these, because this might actually be worth that kind of money. Here's why. It's completely effing stock. That's beautiful. You love to see it. Extremely well cared for. I can't believe this thing has 30,000 miles. Completely stock. This person religiously took, look how good it looks. It still looks really good. This bike is almost 10 years old now. It looks great. I cannot believe this. This is great. I didn't think bikes like this in the R6 scene still existed. I can't believe someone owned this bike for 30,000 miles and didn't even do an exhaust, didn't even do a slip-on. That's pretty sweet. But man, just looking super clean, super well sorted. This is absolutely my pick for today's video. I mean, I can't imagine something's going to beat this out, but this is like, if you're looking for last gen R6, this is the type of bike you want to look for. And this person has priced it very fairly. Again, this bike was like $12,500, I think, in its final iteration in 2017. So we've taken a 20% depreciation over 8 years on a model that's pretty well sought after. It's got high mileage, but it's completely bone stock. So I know that whoever wrote it probably took care of it like a normal person. These motors are pretty bulletproof. As long as you change the oil, change the valves, like not change the valves, as long as you service the valves and check the intervals and do all that stuff. These are pretty well sorted. This to me is, yeah, I can't deny. Yeah, condition 9.5 out of 10. Honestly, he's right. He's right. Yeah, and this is worth about 10 grand, I will say. Because these are sought after now, right? You can say, oh yeah, an 8-year-old bike with 30,000 miles. Come on, 10 grand. But people really like these, and they're still really sought after. And this is a really nice example. And this blue, beautiful. Very well done. Yeah, this has to be the pick for today's video. No notes. Very nice. Moving on. Okay, next up, a 2015 R6 for 7 grand. Okay, this is right before they became the updated plastics and all that. 15,000 miles, so half the miles of the other one. And it's 7 grand, so 3 grand less. Oil, filter, brake fluid, coolant. Last year, 13,300 miles. Runs and rides great. He's got some headlights, turn signals, toche, exhaust tip. That's okay. Taste is not to be discussed, right? Black and gold flat body panels, monster fairings, plastic rear seat cover on. Needs new front tire. Rear tire is decent. No trades. Let's take a look. I'm not loving that. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's workable. I didn't know that these came with the fork with the remote reservoir down here. The clickers down here. I thought these all had them up here. Anyways, that's just my little picadillo. I hate the toche pipe. Absolutely hate it. Horrendous. Send it back. Put the stock. Did he say he has a stock one? No, he did not. God, that is such a shame. This really ruins part of the bike for me. The plastics, it's questionable where they came from and why. So many R6s look like this, where it's like matte black, and you're like, where did these plastics come from and why? And you just have no idea. And that's why I was saying, dude, the stock ones look so good because they're factory fresh. Your aftermarket plastics on your R6 are never going to look as good as OEM. If you want to get new plastics, go OEM. I know it'll be expensive. I know it's hard to find, but don't just go for like random plastic. It just does not look as clean and as good. And this bike would actually look a lot better if it had the stock plastics and the stock decals and all that stuff. I know for a fact that this is not stock in the way it was set up. I'm almost positive. Because they put here black and gold flat body panels, monster fairings. Yeah, the monster fairings is a company, right? So I look, I'm sure the monster fairings are fine and like they work okay for whatever, but you gotta go stock, baby. You gotta go stock. Yeah, that front tire is pretty smoked. That's a pretty easy swap. The other one certainly is a better proposition. For $3,000 more, you get the ultimate generation, the last one, completely stock, beautiful condition. If it were me looking, I would absolutely pony up the extra $3,000 and spend it. Definitely. Even though this one has half the mileage, I gotta say. Okay, next up, a 2002, same generation we looked at prior, some of those older ones, 20,000 miles for $3,000. Bike runs, needs to be tuned, but still turn on. Best offer, I'll ignore anything that just makes no sense. Clean tittle. Bike is registered. Still don't be afraid to throw a offer, only taken cash, no trade. Lord, the public education system has failed this person. That's barely legible. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, I mean, that's why, right? We have a sticker. Oh my God, we have a sticker bombed early gen R6. Jesus, dude. Trailer park spec. This poor bike has been abused. $3,000. No, dude. Pass. This thing is beat to hell. And just has the grossest little farkles and color on it. Big time pass on this one, man. Big time pass. That is a gross looking R6. And it's, I mean, look at the case right there. What's going on there? I see some rust or something's popping out of there on the side. This is not the bike you want. No, definitely not. Like, it's not to judge someone, but someone that would choose to halfway sticker bomb their bike. This never looked good. It's never looked good in the history of anything to sticker bomb a bike. I'll just say it. It doesn't. It's never looked good. It's never going to look good. And that tells me a lot about who owned it and what they did with it and how they wrote it. So, big pass for me. Zero chance that this is the best one we've seen. Moving on. All right, '08 R6 for $7,000. Pretty sweet. That's the generation you want. We're going to run through this one pretty quick because there's a lot to say here. 21,000 miles. Bike has been fully redone externally. Clean Colorado title. I don't know what the hell that means. 90% of the parts listed below have 15 miles or less on them. Okay. Bike is tuned. That means nothing. Titanium M4 exhaust. Is it full exhaust? That's pretty nice. White fairings, some grips, some levers, blah, blah, blah. Quick shifter. New tires, new chain, new clutch, new front wheel, new brake, new rear brake, master cylinder, and caliper. That's a lot for a bike that only has 21,000 miles. I'm confused as to why it has like new fairings, all this new crap, new levers. Probably was crashed, we're going to be honest. This person says, new front tire needs to be done. So why didn't you do that when you did the rear? That's kind of weird. Some scratching on windshield, tail lights up, but not when brake is pressed. Have part on the way and will include. That's probably just the switch for the lever. Let's take a look. Oh, geez, look at those rear sets. Ew. Oh, God. Why do you guys do this on R6s? I don't understand. Ew. This, again, just proves my point that the more stock an R6 is, the better it is. This is gross looking to me. And it's relatively clean, and it's the right year, but I just hate that you'd have to, like, unsquid this motorcycle. That just makes me really sad. $7,000 though is a bit much for this. What was the mileage again? 21,000, I think. Yeah, 21,000 miles, '08, $7,000 with all this crap on it that I'm supposed to think is like amazing and like cool that you did this. Nobody likes this. Nobody thinks it's cool that you've done this. I hate to inform you. It's not a good look, man. It just looks like the bike was cared for by a teenager and the money was spent on like shiny bits of like rear set or whatever. And it kind of worries me that so much time and effort was placed on the external of the bike. And then I don't see anything about the, like when's the last oil change? Were the valves done? Have you flushed the coolant in a while? Like the fundamentals of this bike should have been done as opposed to these sparkles and little features and all that. So I don't know. This one also to me strikes me as kind of like, I guess if you really want an '08, like I guess that's the bike to get, but it's a little beat up. I think without a doubt, boys, let's backtrack here a little bit. I mean, this is our clear winner, right? I mean, you find an R6 like this and you have the money, pull the trigger, baby. This thing is gorgeous. This, I think, would be the one that I would get for sure. Clean, stock, beautiful, well cared for, looks well set up. Absolutely the winner for today's video. Thanks so much for checking out the show. I appreciate you watching another episode of our It Came From Facebook. We'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.